Take a deep breath. Om. Well, my perfect audience, if you think you've been here before, you're right. We're circling around the stupa and the Christmas tree and the maypole and the solstice and the equinox. But never mind, it's all going to be over soon. Extinction 2112 is coming. That's my prediction. It's a Bayesian bardo. Business as usual capitalism is taking us down the drain. But that's okay. Us 36, the Lamadvovniks, we're here with you. You can talk to us about what it's like to be in hospice for the planet. Think of it as the Buddhist Alzheimer's home for the hospiceless. If you're the perfect audience, you can reside at the virtual Buddhist Alzheimer's home for the hospice. You can reside here for a small fee, which you can send to me at the address that will now flash on your screen. You take a deep breath. And then you lick that little transparent, tiny pane. It's called window pane. Or maybe you have the rainbow. Whatever you have, just drink it with your Fukushima Kool-Aid. It'll take you to places you haven't been before, or at least not recently. And you just pull the cat's tail if you're a really mean person. And some of us have images of chopping things up. But we take a deep breath. We know we don't have to act on our impulses, whatever they may be. Shoplifting can only take you so far in this world. Om. Welcome to the Coke 1% Master Narrative Official Story Hour. I'm going to tell you a story about how it's going to be in 2016. When Hillary, who's now had the operation, you know the operation, and is a man, and Jeb Bush, who's also having the operation and is a woman. He has to be a woman because it's an incestuous Jewish. I'm going to take a deep breath because I'm feeling on shaky ground here. I could get myself in trouble by saying something that's not PC. Something about Zionish and knishes. I ate too many latkes and knishes for Christmas. And I had a white Kwanzaa. I'm dreaming the American dream of a white Kwanzaa. When we all sing Kumbaya together. And then we shall overcome. Or be overcome. That's what's happening. We're being overcome. Keystone XL The banks won on the push-out of the Dodd-Frank, opt-armed and arse-upped. It's LIBOR rated and ISDA fixated. You might not imagine that HSBC was still laundering money for the Sinaloa Semites, the Zeta Zionists of the Zeta function. It's all relative, though. It all starts from E equals MC squared. And after that, it's all downhill. It's all Heisenbergian and hegemonic and hysterectomal. But never mind, we'll get into that later. Let's take a deep breath now, my perfect audience, and get the nits out of your hair. You never know when you have Ebola.
Tell us a story.
The story of Ebola. When I got Ebola, it was Spency money. I could tell you the story of Woodstock when I went to Woodstock. When I went to Woodstock, it was with my geriatric rock legend friend who knew the band named Quill. Do you remember Quill? It was a Seals and Croft offshoot of Yes. Yes? You don't remember Yes? Yes. Well, they got us tickets. Not only tickets, but stage passes. So when my favorite band, which just so happened to be eponymously called The Band, sang The Weight, I was reading Beckett. Sir Thomas Beckett, you know the one. Take a deep breath. Let it go by. Let it go by. Take a deep breath until you get one toke over the line. That's what we're talking about here. What is the line? The place where you flatline. With 20/20 hypo hindsight, you could have wished that maybe the Keystone XL equivalent pipelines, crack pipes for Coke, pet Coke, capitalist, highly invasive, corrupt, corrosive consumerism. You could wish it didn't happen. And in the counter future, it won't have happened. You take a deep breath. You wonder, what was Woodstock really like? What'll happen when those of us who were there are no longer? If there's no first-hand account, no living legend, living urban legends, or rural legends, you choose. There's a synchronous and a diachronous kind of timing to the language. We're speaking Ebonics here. That's Yiddish with Ebonics. Schwarze, please, if you're not getting my drift here, Snow White. Have a white Kwanzaa. with 7 dwarves. Knock yourself out. Prince Charming is still out there kissing frogs. And drinking whatever it is he drinks. Drink your Fukushima Kool-Aid. It's 9:10. It's 1491. The exchange. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is just about to tank. Mark my words, it's marked to market. And in the black box of finance, we're going to bail out the banks. That's my prediction. We'll bail out the banks again because they're too big to fail. In our herbal administration, we're going to flip the script. The 99% are going to get bailed out. And what are we going to get bailed out with? In our herbal administration, we're going to do a tally of the richest 1%. And then we're going to take everything they have. Everything that they have and their whole families have. Because they have a way of distributing the assets. So anybody with the name of Rockefeller or Madoff or Goldman or Sachs or Diamond is going to have to give it all back. Because it's an accumulated accrescence of generations of white privilege. Generations of class elitism. And we're going to fix it all in our herbal administration. It's going to be simple. We just take all the assets of the 1%. Whatever. And they get welfare. We would feel bad for them if they had nothing left. They can get on welfare. They just have to fill out all the forms and have someone come and check that all the statements they made on all those forms, that they didn't contradict. And they weren't indicted. And they had no criminal Corey and no Jim Crow. And that they didn't inhale. It's very important that they didn't inhale. Because anybody that inhaled will lose it all. White rabbit. Don't get too excited back there in the peanut gallery. You take a deep breath. If you're a perfect audience, you know that it's funny, but it's serious. It's serious funny, this extinction 2112. The cryosphere is collapsing. And it's going to raise the sea level and the temperature. And when the temperature goes up, the sea level rises. And when the sea level rises, the temperature goes up. And when the temperature goes up, the sea level rises. You got it. You're getting it. You're getting it. To be a perfect audience, you need not understand any more than that. how it came to be that a species that called itself not just once, but twice, Sapiens sapiens. How could a species that was even semi-sapient not see that crack and fracking didn't go together in the coke-addled macroclimate? And if you want, I'm going to give you the opportunity. You can send money to the address that is now flashing on your screen. If you send money to that address, you will have a chance to win a new Volvo. I'm not a Volvo or a Vuvuzela. Your choice. First prize. Second prize, you get nano-silvered.
Ooh.
And gold-plated. We have the technology now. And here's what we'll do. If your pet gets sick and needs to be on life support, we'll cover it forever. You can have your pet cryogenically fried up so that their consciousness, because they have souls. It's now been proved that all pets have souls. They have the souls of their owner. And they have Christmas trees besides. You take a deep breath.
Tell us about the Anthropocene.
The Anthropocene. 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 I don't know, them big words. I'm a little reluctant to throw big words around. Because there's some perfect audience out there that think and speak only of abs and quads and hams and lats and tummy tucks.
Tell us about the end times.
I can't tell you about the end times until you've had a facelift. That's what you need to hear about the end times, because you have to be permanently happy to know about the end times. And a facelift will make you permanently happy. They say, get your mouth into that smile and then just take away anything extra and you'll just stay smiling no matter what happens. And that's the secret of the Anthropocene. Stay smiling. Here we are at the Buddhist Alzheimer's Home for the Hospiceless. And we're taking no extraordinary means. We're doing the plain vanilla minimum. And then, que sera? Kumbaya. We shall overcome. We're talking about quantum inflational cosmology here. It's the standard model. It is what it is. You eat what you kill. And you get upstaged one time and another. You get upstaged by a feral feline. But you don't take it personally. It's not personal. What the hell? WTF, LOL, IRT, IRL,
IRS,
GPS, GPA, GDP. Say goodbye now. Take a deep breath. We're going to talk about high colonics now, because I have a special connection to colonics. I have a friend who shall go unnamed other than to say he's in Vendables. My friend has the colonic video that's had 1 million viral hits. 1 million viral hits, and he's made nothing from it. 0, even less. 2 cents. 2 cents less. But never mind, it's an important topic, high colonics. You have to talk about it at a certain level of high dudgeon or low dudgeon. Because if you don't listen to this and learn from it, you yourself could wind up with a colostomy bag. And we're not going to go into that. There are certain things that are TMI. For those of you in the know, LOL. And for those of you not in the know, get out your GPS. Because you're at the right place. And Dick Cheney is here with you in spirit. Because if you have anything electronic, it is broadcasting your location. And the metadata of your life are being prismatically parsed. You too could be a paradigm shift. You will die one day. The whole species will be dead by 2112, to the extent that 2112 will no longer be known as 2112. Jesus saves. That's what I want you to know. I try my precious Lord, but I've been told to leave that. So I will. Sometimes I can take direction. I just don't know which direction. There are certain visual, symbolic cues that you get about how it's going. And sometimes it goes in just that way. And you wind up, you wake up, you fall asleep and you wind up in Vendables. You wind up, you get a lifetime in Vendables. And you think to yourself, what did I do to deserve this? And then it comes back to you. All your past lives, having been Cleopatra in Egypt, having been Hitler, or Himmler, or Putzi Hafstengel. You could have been Putzi Hafstengel. Or you could have been my mom. Or my 2 brothers, God forbid. Chas v'chalila. Chalavai. Sometimes it makes you sad. Starts out you and them of your bloodline, you feel like you're aligned. You feel like you're on the same team and always will be, but it's not like that. It doesn't turn out like that. Sometimes it's better to just cut your losses because your brothers wind up to be red-wing Republicans and Democrat, like Hillary and Jebish, as if voting. I'd rather vow than vote. I'd rather take an oath. The many beings are. I'm taking a deep breath. There are some here who would speed me up, and some who would slow me down. But me, I go half speed and get twice as much done. Because once you're in the groove, once you find the vein, you just press down. And the oxytocin and the vasopressions inside you, babe, it's all swirling around in plumes and veins in red and blue. You are what you are, and you eat what you kill. Remember, perfect audience, listen. Hear what they want to hear, but they listen. Do what they want to do, but they listen. Feel the way they want to feel, but they listen. See what they see, but they listen for the metadata. Because it's all in the interpretation. The tantric healing practice, body, brain, bone, blood, friendly, flippin', frackin' story. It's funny, you know? Funny story short. Extinction 2112. The holocide is happening. The Anthropocene is the holocide. But it'll be short. Don't worry. We're a ghost species even now. We're a phantom limb of epi-consciousness. It's come to this. It's a little sad, but those of us who know the Gnosis, Gnostics, Essenes, Cathars, and Yadizi, Baha'i, Sufis, who know the Gnosis, the Desert Fathers, Eloise and Abelard, Romeo and Juliet, Polonius and Ophelia, Pancho and Zorro, the Lone Ranger and Tonto, Red Cloud, Crazy Horse, Sitting Bullshit, on the bully pulpit of the American dream, it flows. It flows American. The Coke 1% master narrative, official story. In our herbal administration, we bail out the 99% and we take the 1%. We take all the resources of 1% of the people worldwide. 1%. That's all it takes. And the rest of us, 99%, will live like kings, being transposed to queens, being dragged and dropped, locked and loaded, haiku'd on the down low. It's happening. Shit happens. Mit may happen again. Mitten, drinnen, Dayenu mit the shit with all his money in the Cayman Islands. He may yet beat Chris T. You know Chris T? He's Chris Rock's brother by another mother. That Chris T, who moves the cones on the George Washington Bridge. But it'll all come home to roost come Extinction 2112. Down this path is death, but I don't want to be over dramatic. Could go otherwise. There's a Bayesian bardo, a costacatinoid, within which the minimal surfaces of the counterfuture are being woven as we speak. You practice intention and intuition above and beyond the call of duty and booty, and then you let it go. 'Cause fundamentally, on a quantum level, in inflational cosmology, fundamentally, there is a wall of galaxies, a G-spot in the galaxy, a Goldilocks space within which time-space is smeared singularly for the singularity. And there's some Hawking radiation, it's true, and some radial velocity. You take a deep breath. It's safe to say, you can trust me when I tell you, guaranteed, this is exactly the way it's supposed to be. You can rest. It's perfect, my perfect audience. You've come to the right place. This is where you begun being begat spiritually. There's a certain spiritual Ebola about, a kind of fiduciary Ebola, a kind of emotional Ebola under which the coke-addled 1% master narrative official story seems plausible, deniable, Anthropocenic, best case scenario. But it isn't. It doesn't have to be like this. You could elect Herbie for president. In our herbal administration at the alchemistic shul and the alchemical shulen, every minute is a teaching moment. There's a certain sort of learned helplessness that we guarantee. Building 7 will fall down again, as will MLK and RFK and JFK. But there is no conspiracy theory about James Earl Ray or Jack Ruby or Lee Harvey and his wife, the Russian feminazi, Natasha and Rocky, and the Hegemon horror show. You take your cat toys where you get them. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't get what you need. But those are the times you want to find within yourself the strength to completely give up and get depressed. This is for those of you who've taken that leap into depression. In our herbal administration, you will be the mainstream. The mainstream democracy promotion will be toward depression. We'll let the banks gamble on derivatives until we get the fiduciary Ebola that we need. It's going to be a black box for black swans. With Dick Cheney in the black hole. In our herbal administration, anyone who's been high in government, anyone is going to go to a re-education camp. And they'll have an ankle bracelet, and they can root for the Yankees if they want, or the Doodles, or the deep doo-doo. The deep future is back. Extinction 2112 is a Bayesian bardo. And you need some bhakti to lift yourself above the mainstream and into Inca, Satori, Kensho, suchness, the absolute void, and its Venn diagram, and its Volvo and its Vuvuleza. Honk, if you know what I mean, and take a deep breath. Oh, please join me, perfect audience. If you're shaking your head no like that, you know you are not the perfect audience and that you are damned. Damned to the American dream. Not as the 1%, I hasten to add, but rather as the 99% in an inflational cosmology of the macrosphere of the multiverse, or vice versa. You take what you can get. Sometimes you can only get cat toys. Sometimes you can get Bitcoin. And sometimes you can get friendly fire, like Pat Tillman did. The Brady Bunch is going to win. You can put your money on it now. There's a Ray Rice post-concussive Republican administration coming in. post-NRA, post-NFL, post-NSA, the hyperprism lets you see yourself as you are. It's all back to you. Can I have my didgeridoo? And my Ebola? Home with the Om. Om with the home. Home with the homelessness. You're at the hospice. Let's take a walk about the roundabout. Swing and swerve. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi swaha. Whatever raises your kundalini, do it. The oxytocin and the vasoprescience. I read TPP is the antidote. Revelatory orgasmic reality enlightenment, roar, tears you open. It's an open source for all that you need. You take a deep breath. You spin around, you circle around the stupa, above and beyond the call of duty and booty. You cut to the chase, spin it up. There's a whole spin to how you spin. You go clockwise or counterclockwise. That's all I can tell you. There ain't no other way to go. You're near the event horizon. It's all coming down to being spaghettified and categorified and valenced. The venue is valenced. It's a vagina monologue. It's a dialogue. It's synchronous. It's diachronous. It's diaphanous. It's dipolar. It's bipartisan dipolar. And Keystone XL is going to happen. I kid you not. Or the like. Fracking is crazy. Crazy wisdom. The wisdom of the warrior, the wisdom of the wetware. And it's all over. Extinction 2112. With 2020 hypnopompic hindsight. It's the American dream you've entered. Welcome to my world. It's ongoing. The bullshit is never ending. Welcome back, perfect audience. Take a deep breath. Get out your cat toys. You're in for a treat. You're in for some catnip and some window pane and one toke over the line. I'm still having flashbacks. It was way back at Woodstock that I took my first acid, and I'm still having flashbacks. I've learned to live with it, though. In our herbal administration, there'll be treatment for what's true. And what's true is that Extinction 2112 is happening. With 2020 hindsight, it's obvious. There's a Bayesian bardo, a Fibonacci series of fantasy football excerpts, highlights, instant replays that'll tighten up your abs, expand your quads, extend your lats, and sever your hemispheres. It's like a Ray Rice Republican raptor reality. And it's happening still. Stillborn. Still bored. Still Bayesian in its bardo. You circle back round to the future. And there's Dick Cheney in the prism. And Rum-Dum. And Georgie. Georgie. You take a deep breath. Om Mani Padme Hum. Gate, gate, neti, neti. Inca is the antidote. Let the Kundalini rise, my perfect audience. Inside you, babe, the haiku are all on the down low. Get me my cat toys. Practice your intentions and your intuitions. Focus on the singularity. You take what you can get. One thing follows another. It's an improvisation. And mistakes get made. I guarantee you. Mistakes are made. You will have been one of us 36 if you take a deep breath now. And send your donation to the Herbie for President campaign to the address that flashes on the Christmas tree as you drink your wassail and eat your fruitcake. It's have a white Kwanzaa. Nia. Umoja. Take a deep breath. If you can't wait, why wait? If you gotta go, go. Feel. Feel who you are. Why you're here. If you're here, are you here? Or are you elsewhere? Are there other things going on? Can you focus? Or do you need your cat toys? Mofo. Faux ami. Tout de suite. L'esprit d'escalier. Here's what I should have said. You circle around the stupa clockwise, practicing intention and intuition above and beyond the call of duty and booty until you get to where you've always been. Or not. To be. On the B side, I want to hold your hand. Do you remember what's on the B side of I want to hold your hand? I'll leave you to that. Google me up, Scotty. Google me up, Scotty. Here we're having a close encounter of a fourth kind in 3D. Check it out. The stereogram. If you let your eyes go soft, you'll see a whole other dimension. And it's in that dimension that this interaction is taking place. You are now officially one toke over the line. You're flatlining. It's Bardo. This is real, hyper real, in the hypnopompic state of alchemistic Schul and Schulen. Die Scheiße glänzt nicht, auch wenn sie sich poliert. Just a little Ebonic thing I'm sharing with you. You can look it up. Telling BTT to BFFs is what this is about. That's why we're making this happen as it's happening. It happens the way it happens. You improv because sometimes the people you need go away. They get distracted. But you take a deep breath. It's not personal. Although you hold it against them. You really do. Until you don't. Until you can let go. And you let go in your own good time. This lifetime or next or last. You take a deep breath. You become what you are. There's no getting around it. It becomes what it is, only you hadn't seen it until you do, until the pebble strikes the bamboo, until you understand, moo, until you put her down on the other shore. There's a kind of 2-ply, 4-play with 6 degrees of separation on the 8-fold origami path. And it's December, the 10th month. Or duo December, digitally speaking. Is the world, is the multiverse continuous or discontinuous? Is there pi? And what's the hypotenuse of a triangle with sides 1 and 1? Whoa, and if you don't know and you're getting aggressive, just take a deep breath. Pi r squared, that'll do it. You circle around the stupa and you find pi squares r as E squares MC. Once you know that, you can figure out the rest in that Gödelian way. As long as you don't measure Schrodinger's cat, who just had a couple of teeth taken out. Schrodinger herself lived a long life and came back as a dog for being bad dog. Downward dog, yoga, Kali Yuga, Sita and Rama, Govinda, some people yawn. I don't take it personal. Screw 'em. Screw 'em. But that's just a symbol. What we call a prosthetic infarction. But then you know that if you're a stereogrammarian. Bird by bird, we get to the truth. It's a non-linear truth, I must say. It from bit. The rest is history, or her story. You worship the goddess. You ask the guru within to worship the goddess for a win-win. I and I re, TPP, Tantric Practice Partnership. With the Zap Japs. That's Zaftig American Princess Zen. Then we go to the point. Then we come to the point. It's a session. It's a session for shysters and stuppers and schwarzes and starkers and schickses and schickers. No one else is allowed except the perfect audience. If you get it, you can send your contribution to the number flashing on your screen. A check should be in the mail electronically. We're going to make an electronic transfer right here. We have your account number. Thank you for tuning in. Your account number is now flashing on the screen, and I am downloading like a North Korean, watching the interview for free. Or like Bill Cosby himself, with a little GHB and GRBs and GPS, honing in on the vulnerable, like Ray Rice, that time, like Bernie Madoff, like Osama bin Obama, like Jebish the Nebbish, like Hillary the nappy-headed, Hillary Coakley and Martha Stewart on the same ticket. You take a deep breath, you collect yourself wherever you happen to be, whatever you're happening to feel. It's sad that Extinction 2112 is going to happen because the first great tithing of souls, the first great decimation is going to happen in 2040. Mark my words, that's my prediction. 2040 is peak population, and it's when the first great tithing happens. I heard it from Negro Damas himself, and from Cinderella and Madonna sweeping up on Desolation Row. You become what you are, no more, no less. You spin in both directions, but you wind up where you get cut off. And most of us get cut off at the neck, and we're left with only a headshot. You take a deep breath, and you don't take it personally. Because it ain't personal. It's epi-conscious. Collectively, unconsciously, we're all 99%. And we're going down. We're going down together. 2, 1, 1, 2.